Cris is over this weekend. He's helped me weld a bunch of stuff up on the Bronco. I'm really happy. There's a lot of little odds and ends that were either done wrong or just need to be fixed. And so right now we're working on the push bar. Cris has been bothered by this since he's met me and my Bronco. I guess it's just bad welds, which I don't know much about welding, so I never noticed. But he's on a mission to fix it. He pulled it off already, and he's going to put it back on. We're going to tack it on, measure it out, and then weld it again, and I'm going to paint it, and it's going to look really nice when it's done.
So this has been driving me insane since I've actually seen the Bronco. Someone didn't get it hot enough, and so this will be a real simple fix. I'm just going to clean off all the welds and then do a little preheat and try to burn it in a little better.
Where are you welding it?
It's going to get right here. You can see someone didn't get it hot enough, didn't get any penetration.
Okay, cool.
We'll try again.
Yep, and I'm going to grind it and paint it. It'll be nice and fresh and clean. First of all, look at these clouds. They are so stinking beautiful. Also, look at these welds. They are so stinking beautiful. Ooh. So much better. These welds are rated for shenanigans, for sure. Good job, Cris.
Yay.
Thank you. So I got this hole right here. I had the racetrack trim on this previously. Since the rear quarters, doors, and fender are all new, you can't tell there, but the trim used to come around here. So I have Cris here, and he is going to weld up this hole for me. Cris just noticed this has a factory center speaker, which I don't really know much about.
So I think most of the medium duty trucks only came with center speaker, and so it's kind of exciting that this one has center speaker. I don't know if that's a Bronco thing, but I'm pretty sure as far as the F trucks go, only medium duty gets it.
This is the insulation I pulled out, and it's just dripping. So I'm going to run a hose over the Bronco, and we're going to find out exactly where it's coming in through. Today I'm working on taking care of the floor in here. It's got quite a bit of rust. Cris and I figured out that the water is coming in through here. It looks like it was primed, which I've heard that primer isn't the best because it can lock in moisture. So my plan is I've got a wire wheel, and I'm going to buff it, and then I bought a rust prevention product. And I'll put that, or a rust converter product, and I'll put that down. And then I'm going to Rust-Oleum over it, and then possibly get like an insulation and heat protection like coating, and then put some insulation over top of that. So I'll do all I can to make sure this is quiet and protected and insulated. So here's where we're at. I just pulled the doors off. It's done drying after the good scrub down that it got. I'm gonna get my Chris's air compressor out, and I'm gonna spray the OSFO on here. You can use a brush, but I think it'll be a good test run. I think it'll be a good test run to see how the air compressor is doing before I use it to paint. I'm excited to have it really clean and nice and really sound. So I got both fenders off. I sanded them on the truck, took them off. I'm having a losing battle with keeping the garage so I can be in there and it's not super cluttered. It's really fun seeing the rust turn black. It's just so satisfying, fighting with rust and rusty bolts and all that BS the last year. I got you. Lauren 1, rust 348. So it's also really windy. There's lots of leaves in here. But I am really encouraged by how much progress is being made. Oh, also here's the Bondo I did. Which I was kind of scared of Bondo, but it's actually pretty fun once you kind of get the hang of it. I'm working on filling this cab corner, which had a hole and it was really jagged. So I'm kind of trying to figure out how to build on top of and make shapes, which is pretty cool. And the one here and the tailgate. Ooh, that's fun. So this is when I tried peeling out, and I didn't have the latch for my tailgate put back in yet. So I was just holding it up with a dog leash. I was tied to there and I didn't have it looped enough times. And I peeled out and my tailgate came flying down and dented on these bolts. And I was in like a really fancy neighborhood too, and I just felt like, but yep, it's getting there. It's exciting. It's like already transformed. Even though it's not painted and the finished product yet, it's still like not what it was just a little bit ago. And that's so exciting. Share a little learning moment I just had. I'm scraping the headliner insulation out. I'm going to replace this with new stuff. And I learned how not to do it and how to do it, so I want to share that with you really quick. Initially, I just tore it out, and now I'm stuck with all this crap. And it's hard to, like, I feel like I need to shave it almost. Not really, but this side, I started with a putty knife, and I'm working it along that seam. And it's going a lot smoother. So if you guys are doing the same thing, I would recommend just starting with the right tool instead of being a little Neanderthal and just tearing it out. As you can see, it took me a while to learn this lesson. The last piece, I figured it out, but I figured it out and now I'm sharing it with you guys, so it's worth it. I've gotten both doors sanded and ready for primer. I think I went way overboard on the sanding. There's the other one. They both had E-coat on them, and I took it to bare metal, which I spent the entire day wet sanding these with 120 grit, 'cause that's just what I had lying around. Since I'll be doing Duraback, I need to finish the primer with 100, so I'm not too worried about only using 120 before I prime. I also bondoed the dents in this, and then realized that because my primer goes over bare metal and rust, but not the Bondo, I ground it off and I'm starting over. So I'm using Tamco primer. My friend Joe highly recommends this stuff. It's really nice because you can do direct to metal and actually direct to rust as well. And it was cheaper than the other high-end ones. So I'm planning on priming those doors and those fenders. And then I'll start working on getting the rest of the body prepped in the next few days. It's going to rain the next 2 days, so I'd like to get these primed tonight if I can. I was on my second coat of primer and it started to drizzle, which rain was not in the forecast, but Mother Nature said, screw you, weatherman. It came out really nice actually though. I'm really happy to see these have a nice fresh coat. All the sanding I did is paying off. I need to do a second coat. I got halfway through the second coat on this one. I need a second coat on this one. And then I am finishing getting my tailgate sanded. And I will be doing a coat on this as well. So Cris, in all of his amazingness, blew apart, replaced the seals for the third time, and put it back together in the last... He started yesterday, tore it apart, ordered those seals, putting it back together today, and that is a huge weight off my chest because if you've been watching my videos, I keep doing this and the seal keeps being crooked or something's wrong. So hooray for this. And I got the bed of the Bronco Rust-Oleumed. I didn't like that it was primered. I wanted something a little bit more weatherproof, rust-proof. So I did Rust-Oleum. It's not perfect, but it actually looks really nice, I think. This was yellow and kind of oversprayed with the blue primer from the other stuff. So it's looking really good. Today I learned that you can't Bondo over a big ass dent. So I'm going to grind off the Bondo and Cris is going to weld on some washers and use a slide hammer to pound it out. I don't know what that really means, but we're gonna just see. So I ground out the Bondo. It's a pretty big hole. You gonna put the thing next to it?
So you're not supposed to put Bondo on anything over an 1/8 inch, I believe. So we're not gonna pay for a stud welder. We're just gonna use the MIG to put some washers in here and use a slide hammer we rented from AutoZone to pull the dent out. And we'll see how this goes.
The rental was like $200, so I'm glad I can return it. I was hoping I could push it out, but it's right about there. And I tried like this, all janky like, and it did not work.
Wow, that really brought that end out.
The Bronco had old brackets on it before, and I got the spare tire carrier with the Bronco, and I bought it from the owner, and 2 of these were stripped out, so Cris just pulled this bracket out.
So it's spot welded on this side, on the inside. It was spot welded 3 times, so I just drilled it out, and then now I'm gonna weld nuts on there and get the bolts out.
Figure while I'm here, I'm gonna paint the pedals. So I just used a little steel wool and cleaned them off. I'm gonna paint that shifter as well. And then clean it with brake clean, and then use some Rust-Oleum and hit it. It's crazy how sharp those look with just a little bit of paint.